Once you've finished all of the stations above, it's time to move on to a virtual atmosphere data collection lab. This lab is going to have you launching weather balloons and rockets in order to explore a little bit more about the different layers of our atmosphere. The first thing to do is watch this video, which you're doing right now. The second thing is to go to Google Classroom. You're going to open up the assignment in here in your classwork tab that is labeled Virtual Atmosphere Data Sheet, which looks like this. This is just your data collection area that goes along with the lab. Back on my site, the third step says, when you're ready, open the slideshow to the left to begin the lab. So I'll pop this open, and it brings me to this page. There's a few things to do when you're here. First of all, it says click on the microphone icon to listen to a quick podcast about weather balloons. Make sure you do that. It's pretty short. They're going to be talking about something called a radiosonde, which you can see pictured here. When you're done with that, there's a couple short videos describing weather balloons and sounding rockets, which are the tools you're going to be using in the lab. When you're done with that, click on this button here to continue. The first step here is to record your data for 0 kilometers altitude, or standing at sea level. And you can see we have measurements of altitude, density, pressure, and temperature. These are the numbers you're going to record in your spreadsheet. So altitude of 0, at an altitude of 0, I have a density of 100. So I'll go into this box and I'll type 100. You don't need to label it, we just need the data. Air pressure, and this is in a unit called pascals, which you don't really need to understand the unit, you just need to understand that numbers can increase or decrease depending on where you are in the atmosphere. So this is 101,300. So I'll go to altitude of 0, pressure, 101,300. And then finally, the temperature at sea level here is 15 degrees Celsius. I've recorded my baseline data. Now I'm going to click here to continue, and you can see down here I've got a weather balloon and a weather rocket that I'm going to be using in this lab, and I've got a picture of Mount Everest here for scale. So I'm going to choose my next launch height. My next launch height is 5 kilometers, so I'll click 5 kilometers. And there's a button down here that asks me to launch the balloon. The balloon is going to go up. As it gets to a certain height, the air pressure around the balloon becomes so low that the balloon expands and bursts, and it sends back the radiosonde to the ground using a parachute. I'm then going to recover it and analyze the data. I now have new data for the altitude of 5 kilometers. So I'm going to record my new data. Density of 60.7. 60.7. An air pressure of 54,048. 54,048. And finally, a temperature of negative 18 degrees. So it got pretty cold pretty quick. I'll then continue collecting data in the same fashion for the remainder of my graph. Once you're done collecting the data, there's nothing else to do with this spreadsheet other than keep it somewhere safe, because we are going to come back in here and work on creating some graphs relative to your data. When you're ready to launch another radiosonde, click here and choose your height until you're finished with the lab. If you have any questions, please let me know, but you'll just follow these steps until you're finished. Good luck.